Men are not dumb. Men are not stupid. You're being manipulated.
They're 100% correct. One time I became what you could call accidentally a trad girlfriend of sorts. And it was a slippery slope, but men are not stupid. I would say about 90% of the time they are fully aware of what they're doing, and 100% of the time they are way more competent than they lead you to believe. Because be honest, anytime you finally let a man know how truly deeply he messed up and that you're really upset, or maybe even finally try cutting him off or leaving him on red for a while, then suddenly out of the blue he'll come back and start acting like a knight in shining armor, right? Doing all the things you've always begged him to start doing, but just for long enough that gets you like manipulated and hooked back on the line. Because men are more aware than we give them credit for. Which leads back to that if he wanted to, he would. He literally just isn't. And one time when I was about 19, I got into what you could call like a trad girlfriend situation before that was even a popular term. And you might ask me like, well, how did I get out? How did I finally see the light? And it was like the moment a switch flipped, like suddenly the floodgates opened and I saw everything clear as day and I kind of had a breakdown. But it didn't happen all at once. It was like a very slippery slope. I think I was about 19, 20 and he was 21, 22-ish. And funny enough, contrary to what you would expect if you watch my content, some of my favorite things are deep cleaning stuff. I love baking, a little bit of cooking. At the time I was a nanny and I love working with children. So kind of like a trad husband's wet dream, which got me obviously into a lot of situations when I was younger. But for starters, this man had really bad ADHD, so he kind of needed a lot of help doing a lot of things, which I can relate to because same. And two, he was essentially an only child, so his mother like he couldn't do anything. You can see where this is going immediately. He also had this persona of like golden retriever boyfriend, you know, kind of airheaded but super fun and lovable, and on the forefront always treated me really well and was very sweet. So the first time I went over to his house, I was meeting his parents, right, where he was living for the summer. I was very nervous. I was like, let's cook them dinner. I want to be helpful, you know, so he grilled the chicken. I made all the side dishes, like the veggies, the salad, the bread, other things like that. It was a pretty strong start and we made a good team. But again, even at that point, I had to mother him through how to do like the steak or chicken or whatever it was that night. But anyways, it was fine. And the second time I went over to his house, his parents were out of town for 2 weeks, so he was just chilling at home. I show up and the place was a mess. And I was like, dude, you cannot, like your parents come home in a few days. You have to clean this. Like you can't let them come home to this. That's just disrespectful. But now there was this unfortunate precedent set that like anytime he needed chores or anything done, I had to help him do it. Which again slowly became me just doing the chores for him. But his mother loved me because I always came over and yelled at him until he did stuff, which again at this point I just felt like I had taken the place of his mother for her, which I'm sure she was very happy about. And one of the nails in the coffin that really did it was that he always showed up late to everything, which again, ADHD, time management, I totally understand. So then I started slowly telling him that events started earlier than they do just so that he would show up on time. But then he started showing up later and later. And it was never that big of an issue until one time I had a family reunion and I wanted us to obviously make the family reunion. So when I really need him to be at my house at 9:30, I actually tell him to be there at 9 o'clock sharp. He lives about a 27-minute drive away from me, right? And I'm on the way to the event. 9 o'clock rolls around, he's not here yet. 9:30 rolls around and now I'm repeatedly calling him because he needs to be there at latest by 9:30, which would have been on time. 10 a.m. rolls around, an hour past the time I told him to be there, and I'm starting to get ready to just go to the event alone. And he calls me panicked. He's freaking out. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My alarm went off an hour ago, but I put it to snooze and I accidentally slept through the other ones. And at 10 a.m., I'm sitting here thinking you had your alarm set to go off an hour ago, which would have been at 9 o'clock, the time I told you to be here to pick me up. Even then, sir, you still would have been at least a half hour late because you have to get out of bed and shower and get over here. I'm livid, but he's like, it's fine. Like, I'm rushing. I'm in the car already. Like, I'll be there soon, whatever. I get in the car. I'm obviously fuming. Like, I know at this point we've pretty much missed the entire event anyways, and probably no one's going to be left by the time we show up. And I'm trying to gentle parent to him why I'm upset with him and explain that, like, the time you set your alarm for would have still made you, like, a half hour late to my home anyways. And he turns to me and he goes, well, you always tell me to show up early anyways, so I thought it would just be fine either way. And that's when it hits me. I go, what? He goes, well, you intentionally tell me to always show up early, so it's fine that I'm always late. And that's when the floodgates start to open. I go, you knew this whole time that I've been bending over backwards to try and accommodate. And not only that, it shows that you actually can show up at whatever time you decide to show up at. You just don't respect my time enough, and you make me try and work overtime to make sure you're there on time when you could be there on time anyways. And he was like, well, yeah, I guess, but like you always just do it for me anyways. And that's when I start bawling. I am crying at this point in the car, losing it. Because in that moment, I realized this whole relationship, all I've been doing is trying to make your life easier and work with you as a partner to accommodate you and your needs. And the whole time, you, sir, have been literally doing the exact opposite and making my life more difficult knowingly. And so at this point in the car, I'm crying profusely. And so I was like, just drop me off at the event. Like, don't come in, go home. I will get, we're done. This is it. And he's crying, freaking out. Like, I didn't realize it was that big of a deal. Like, I had no idea. And I was like, yeah, that's the issue. You didn't even stop to think about how this affects me in my life at all. And two, no, you don't have no idea. You've known the whole time, clearly. You've been doing this all intentionally. And at this point, he is crying, bawling his eyes out. I'm crying, bawling my eyes out. He's like, I'm so sorry, don't do this. I'm like, no, I can't, no. And we're both too young. Maybe you're just too young to be dating anyways. You'll grow up out of this, but let's just hope that we both take something from this, and I need to not be here anymore or ever see your face again. Because this was just straight up downright disrespectful of me and my time and just so many things. And I was willing to dismiss it the whole time when I thought you were just like an airhead golden retriever boy because you were always so nice and friendly. But to hear that you knew, it's just another level of no.